हरि करना।
So next we will be looking into the second method or technique under mixed method sampling. So that's embedded sampling. Embedded sampling is a sampling technique that involves sampling a smaller subset of a larger population within a specific context or environment. So this technique is often used in social science research, particularly in studies that involve observation or measurement of behavior in a specific setting. Let's look into one example. So this one is embedded sampling. So suppose a researcher wants to study the behavior of students in a particular school. So researcher wants to study the behavior of students in a particular school. So now the researcher decides to use embedded sampling to select a smaller subset of students for observation. So he has decided to select smaller subset of students for observation. Okay. Then, so the researcher selects several classrooms within the school and then select a random sample of students within each classroom. Again, the probability sampling as well as the non-probability sampling, both are used. So now the researcher selects several classrooms within the school and then selects a random sample of students within each class. That's the step 2. Within each class. So within each classroom. So the researcher then observes these students during the regular class time, collecting data on their behavior and academic performance. So let me write down this as a step 1. This as step 2. Then we have step 3. So then the researcher observes these students during their regular class time, collecting data on their behavior and academic performance. So the sampling, so that's what is this embedded sampling. So this sampling technique is useful when the researcher is interested in studying behavior within a specific context or environment. By using embedded sampling, the researcher can select a smaller subset of the population and focus on specific behaviors or interactions that are relevant to the researcher question. However, it is important to be aware of potential biases introduced by the sampling method, such as the potential for non-representative sampling within the specific context or environment. So in general, embedded sampling can be useful a technique when used approximately when the researcher is aware of its limitations and potential biases. The researcher should carefully consider the context and environment in which sampling is taking place and should use appropriate sampling methods to ensure the sample is representative of the larger population to the context and then to the extent context and extent possible.